Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I'm glad you're here. Quick shout out and thank you to the channel members. Thank you, channel members. I appreciate you all so much. And thank you for anybody who's come in to check out the knife and EDC content. So today we are going to disassemble our Hinderer XM-18 3-inch. We're going to see what size bearings it takes, and we are going to do some blade maintenance on it. So without further ado, it uses a little different hex bit. A T6 will work, but I think this is I'll pull it out here in just a sec. These are Chicago barrel screws, which really work nicely. All right. Take these out. And on our pivot, you can use the Hinderer tool, but I learned watching an MC video a long time ago that a penny or a nickel work just fine. And so I've gotten a penny that I use and basically put some masking or painter's tape on top of it. It fits perfectly, doesn't scratch my finish. And once I get it started, the threads are super smooth. You can kind of just continue I don't know why it's going slower for some reason. I'm filming this earlier in the morning and my dexterity is not up to par. No, I know what we've got happening. We've got a little spinning action there. Come on one second, guys. Let me grab this little tool over here. Got barrels falling out. All right. All right. That was a little Hinderer tool just to get that started. I picked that up. I think it's called Pacific Suns on Etsy. American Machine Shop makes these. I'll show them to you in just a second. It's the budget version. I say budget, it's about 46 bucks of the Hinderer tool. This is the flat side for the pivot. I use a penny, and this is the back side to catch that pivot. And then the bit I was using is a 5/64, and on the 3.5, I think it's a 1/16. All right, got a little corrosion there that we need to work with. We need to check our bearing size, but that's a gross blade, very gross. I don't have any skiffs currently. but we can clean those bearings up and get them sized out. Alright, first thing I want to do is work on the blade. So I'm going to get my rust eraser. And I am going to, it's probably just oil, it's dried. It is. Alright, I'm just going to get an alcohol wipe first. I could have put some washers in here. That might have been cool, but for now, we will just clean her up because she's filthy. And then we'll get our washer sizes. I don't know if those are the same size as the 3.5 uses or not. I thought the pivot was a little smaller, but we will see. Clean all that smuts out of there, off that pivot. Speaking of our pivot, we'll clean it up too. All right, so the pivot's 1/4 inch. Quarter inch by 1/16. 1/4 inch by 1/16. Write that down real quick. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so now what I'm going to do is, since I've got it out, I might as well use a little Wicked Clean on my blade before I Wicked Wax it. This is also kind of a protectant, but it'll get off any surface crud. This stuff's kind of pasty. It's not as jelly-y or viscous as the Wicked Wax. So I've got to work a little harder to get this on the blade, and then I'll rub it in real good. And it's got a little bit of an abrasive property similar to Flitz polish that that won't mar finishes, but it does really get down at the gradu that's in and around your blade. So what we're going to do is just rub that in real good. I'm going to cap this off. And then I'm going to very carefully work it into this blade, just to kind of let the Wicked Clean get into all those areas. All right. This is just therapeutic for me. I should probably use something different, but what are you going to do, right? So now I'm just going to take a just a dry rag. I'm going to get that wicked clean off of that 20 CV blade because I'm getting ready to wax it up. So I'm not as worried about getting all of it off. I'm just worried about getting the gradute out of the blade. Alright, so check on the wicked clean. Let's throw some wicked wax on it. This stuff kind of picks up more on your finger, so that'll probably be enough. It seems to go faster than my wicked clean, which makes sense because I use this more to periodically treat my blades. What this will do is when we let it kind of sit there for a second and then go to rub it off, is it will leave a coating, protective coating, that wax will, to help prevent any corrosion. That is the purpose of wicked wax. Don't need it as much on stainless, but I use it because you will see little surface rust build up depending on how you use your knives. Alright, so now I'm going to just quickly kind of remove that. Without cutting myself. Buff out that back end. All right, so our blade is ready. We've got our bearings sized out. I'm going to give these just a little cleaning. These are steel bearings in a stainless looking track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that track facing back. I'm going to take my KPL heavy and put just a little bit in this detent ball divot. A little bit on my detent ball. Then I will take my original KPL and I will get it started here in my a few drops down in my track. Drop my bearing down. I always do the flat side towards the scale. I've seen them when I've disassembled them both ways. Alright, so this is where it gets tricky. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put and get my bearing seated the way I want it. Alright, then I've got to take my Chicago screws and hold them in place with my fingers. And then when I add my scale, the tricky part is getting the stop pin and the pivot all to line up without pushing anything out of place, which I inevitably do. Let's see. Alright, so we've already got a fail on our hands because our barrel spacer is wedged in there, and I'm betting I'm not going to be able to capture it without driving myself crazy. I'm going to try. Whoops. Oh man, I got lucky. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is take my body screws and get these guys back in there. And get this guy back in there. I'm not tightening them down yet. Right, something weird's going on. Get that pushed back in. Just a little tap. Oh, I went too far. Went too far. Just almost right. Whoops. This is where it gets crazy maddening. There we go. All right. Screw lined up. And then this one is going to want to free spin. So I've got to get it lined up. Alright, now take our pivot. Always hand thread it to get it started. Nope, it's not pushed all the way through. There we go. I just screw it in there by hand as far as I can. Whoops. And then we're finishing it up. I always go all the way tight. And I go a little tighter. There we go, guys. We've got our Hinderer 3-inch XM-18 cleaned up. Get this smuts out of there with one of our little cutie pips sticks. And we are good to go, guys. A little alcohol to clean that out. And guys, now we know what kind of skiffs to get for that. And we have done our maintenance. Make sure we're not picking up any rust, any smuts. Got our barrel, our bearings lubed up, and we're ready to go, guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate KPL for supporting the channel, and I appreciate Wicked Wax and Wicked Clean to Preach Forge for sending me some Wicked Wax to try out. Get GoodSkrew, Skiff Bearings, Skiff Blade Works. All the support I get from you guys and the community is large. It's just humbling and it's enjoyable. I love each and every one of you. All that I ask is, if you're so inclined and you hadn't had a chance yet, if you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, it really helps me out. But most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose to bait, not hate. I love you all. Peace.